Well, I hope you're having a happy Feast of Tabernacles during Sukkot. And usually, if you have a copy of my book, you'll see my sukkah that I built every year facing Jerusalem. And as I've told you several times before, that I have a Jerusalem compass. And instead of pointing to north, it points to Jerusalem. So I know exactly how to put my temporary tabernacle up to point to the holy city of Jerusalem, which is God's holy city. That tree, sadly, was cut to the ground, and so I'll never be able to put my sukkah there again. But I've come out to a place that has a lot of trees, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about just, how God is our rock and our fortress. There's so many verses that state that in Isaiah, in Psalms, in the New Testament. I'm trying to do this off the cuff without stopping the video, so it's kind of different for me because usually I can stop the video and pick up. But I would like to share something that the rabbi stated in Breaking Israel News, Israel 365. And they actually stated that the booths of Sukkot that the Jews built on Sukkot, they're saying now, instead of it representing the glory cloud of the Lord, that it actually represents fortresses that the Jewish people built when they initially conquered the land of Israel, when they were unscathed in these flimsy fortresses from armies that were more well equipped than they were, and God would give them victory. It's interesting that in Strong's Concordance number 4581, Mauz means fortress, rock, strengthen, force, or stronghold. Now, this is exactly when Yeshua went up with his disciples, Peter, James, and John, to the Mount of Transfiguration, and Moses and Elijah appeared in the glory cloud, and Simon Peter said, "Would you like for us to build these sukkahs? One for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah." And I think it's interesting that, it says in Isaiah 17:10, "You have forgotten God, your Savior. You have not remembered the rock, your fortress." Now, God is the rock and fortress. He's the stronghold. In Psalms, David speaks of running to the rock, to the stronghold that is the Lord. And so I'm trying to read this off little notes here, but Psalm 67:6, no, I think it's 62:6. It says, "He alone is my rock of salvation, my fortress. I shall not be shaken." And so they would build the sukkahs and tabernacle in them. And, on the 8th day of Sukkot, Messiah Yeshua went into the holy temple when they have the water libation ceremony. And he said, "Let all who thirst come to me." In other words, showing that can't believe that guy just walked by me. Anyway, he said, let all who thirst come to me. And it was showing that he's the living water. When we get to Daniel chapter 11, and it talks about the Antichrist, it says something very interesting because, you know, the rabbis were talking about that these sukkahs were actually fortresses. And I was putting two and two together that it says, starting in Daniel 11, verse 38, I think that's verse 36, actually. Then the king shall do according to his own will. He shall exalt and magnify himself above every god, shall speak blasphemy against the God of gods, and shall prosper till the wrath has been accomplished. For what has been determined shall be done. He shall regard neither the God of his fathers, nor the desire of women, nor regard any God, for he shall exalt himself above them all. But in their place he shall honor a God of fortresses, and a God which his fathers did not know he shall honor with gold and silver, with precious stones and pleasant things. Thus he shall act against the strongest fortresses with a foreign god, which he shall acknowledge, and advance its glory, and he shall cause them to rule over many. You know, they're making that covenant with many, and divide the land for gain. At the time of the end, the king of the south shall attack him, and the king of the north shall come against him like a whirlwind, with chariots, horsemen, and with many ships, and he shall enter the countries, overwhelm them, and pass through. He shall also enter the glorious land, and many countries shall be overthrown, but these shall escape from his hand: Edom, Moab, and the prominent people of Ammon. He shall stretch out his hand against the countries, and the land of Egypt shall not escape. He shall have power over the treasures of gold and silver, and over the precious things of Egypt. Also the Libyans and Ethiopians, well, that's Sudan, modern-day Sudan. Sorry about the sun back there. The people from Sudan, Ethiopians, shall follow at his heels. But news from the east and from the north shall trouble him. Therefore he shall go out with great fury to destroy and annihilate many. And he shall plant the tents of his palace between the seas and the glorious holy mountain. Yet he shall come to his end, and no one will help him. And at that time Michael shall stand up, the great prince, who stands watch over the sons of your people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that time. Now he's talking about the nation of Israel. And at that time your people shall be delivered, every one who is found written in the book. And you know, during the Feast of Trumpets and the High Holy Days, you know, you're in introspection. By the time Yom Kippur comes, you're either inscribed in the book of life or you're not. So this is saying everyone who's inscribed in the book shall be delivered. And many of those who sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, some to shame and everlasting contempt. Those who are wise shall shine like the brightness of the firmament, and those who turn away to righteousness like the stars forever and ever. Somebody just decided to play a harmonica. Wow, really? He's just trying to be annoying, I think. But you, Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book Until the time of the end, many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall increase. Then I, Daniel, looked, and there stood two others, one on this river bank and the other on that river bank. Could that have been Elijah and Moses? And one said to the man clothed in linen, who was above the waters of the river, how long shall the fulfillment of these wonders be? And then I heard the man clothed in linen, who was above the waters of the river, when he held up his right hand and his left hand to heaven, and swore by him who lives forever, that it shall be for a time, times, and half a time. And when the power of the holy people has been completely shattered, all these things shall be finished. You know, Jonathan Cahn was just, sorry about the sun, Jonathan Cahn was just in Washington, D.C., and he shattered that clay jar like Jeremiah did. Can't get the sun out of my camera. Like Jeremiah the prophet shattered the clay jar representing Jerusalem. And I was kind of not so happy that he did that, trying to represent America and in doing the same thing, shattering a clay jar, because that really represented what happened in Jerusalem, not the United States of America. But anyway, it goes on to say, although I heard, I did not understand. Then I said, my Lord, what shall be the end of these things? And he said, go your way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed to the time of the end. Many shall be purified, made white and refined, but the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand. And from the time that the daily sacrifice is taken away, and the abomination of desolation is set up, there shall be 1,290 days. Blessed is he who waits and comes to the 1,335 days. But you, go your way till the end, for you shall rest and will arise to your inheritance at the end of days. So, of course, the Lord's going to gather his elect from Israel at the end of the time of Jacob's trouble. He's going to gather his wheat into his barn. But I find it very interesting that this rabbi said that the sukkahs don't represent the glory cloud of the Lord, but rather the fortresses that they built. And I beg to differ, because there you had Messiah Yeshua standing, and the glory cloud overshadowed him and the disciples that were set apart on God's mountain. And he was revealing he was the rock and the fortress, and that they didn't need to build temporary sukkahs, because one day we will be dwelling in his presence in the permanent tabernacle of God, the one that the Messiah built with his own hands with living stones. And we build up that temple from the foundation of the apostles and the gates of the 12 tribes of Israel. And I explained a lot of that in my book, which is very exciting what the Lord showed me in there. So I think it's interesting that when it talks about the Antichrist, it's talking about he shall worship a god of fortresses. And I was just putting two and two together with what the rabbis were saying in Breaking Israel News. And so, you know, when we're looking up in the sukkah with the open roof, we can see the stars, we can see the sky, and we are watching and waiting for the soon appearing of our Lord and Savior, Yeshua HaMashiach of Nazareth, Jesus Christ, who said to watch and look up, for your redemption draws nigh. That's what I wanted to say today. I hope this blessed you. And for people who were asking about what my PayPal address was, I'm sorry doing this on the phone. I couldn't type it in. But it's paypal.me/ KKROCOCO. That's KK Rococo. And the GoFund is still up, but I'm going to be revamping that fund. So it is, I think, GoFundMe.com/KK Rococo. KKROCOCO. GoFundMe.com/KKROCOCO. So those are the addresses. And then the mailing address is P.O. Box 246, Niwot, Niwot, Colorado, 80544. So for those of you who kept asking me, and I haven't, for some reason, it threw people's comments over into the review section. And I haven't been able to go through all of them yet because there's lots of them. So please be patient with me, and hopefully I'll get your comment posted up there. It didn't automatically post the comments, it threw them over someplace else. And so anyway, I'm praying that you will just be blessed by what I've told you, and that you'll be looking up in your temporary sukkah. Our bodies are like a temporary sukkah. You know, my mom, when she left her body, she was absent from the body, present with the Lord in her spirit and soul, went to be with the true temple, which is being in the presence of God himself. And one day, she'll get a permanent body that's a glorified state, and so will we. And we will go dwell in the presence of our King of Kings and Lord of Lords. Give your life to Jesus Christ, Yeshua HaMashiach, the Messiah of Israel today, and give him your heart. God bless everybody for a blessed Sukkot, Feast of Tabernacles.